Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another episode of A Dangerous Podcast.
Now that's an intro.
I'm your host, Ian Alley Seals, and I'm here with my fellow, I'm here with my fearless co-host compatriots, Jules, John, and Jason. How you doing, everybody?
Pretty good.
I'm doing great.
Excellent. Jason, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm accomplishing a lot, but as a side effect of that, I'm just really tired.
I hear you. So everybody, that enraged roar that I started tonight's podcast with, can anyone tell me what movie is that from?
It's from I know.
Yeah, John, you know.
It's from one of the movies reviewed, Roar.
Oh! It's from Roar.
It was the lion that bit Meg Griffin.
Melanie Griffin. Meg Griffin.
Melanie Griffin.
No, I'm not referring to that. I'm referring to the film that we are talking about tonight. I Come in Peace. That was my impression of the alien villain in this film. That was, that's his kind of signature sound for the movie. That's what he does the entire time. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. Good to see you guys. How's everybody's week going? John, how's your week?
It's going good. I'm kidless right now, which is weird. I usually have them. So just kind of adjusting to it. I've got like a regular schedule. My whole life is kind of just chaotic, but it's kind of a controlled chaos. And like, when anything is different, I'm kind of out of whack. So usually I'm used to dealing with my son's craziness on these days. And so without him, it's like, I feel like I need to bungee jump or something to like get the chaos that I'm normally used to.
Live, laugh, and love, John. Live, laugh, and love.
That's what the signs all over my house say.
Everywhere. They're in the bathroom. They're in the kitchen. They're on every surface. That's what you've wallpapered over your.
You know what? House. Can't forget it. That's why.
With one notable exception, his bookshelf, which is filled with only one book, and that is Eat, Pray, Love.
Eat, Pray, Love, not this one, right? The only exception. Right.
So Jason, you've been pretty busy. What's been keeping you occupied?
Well, I have one employee who first was injured, then his truck broke down, which he used to help me with some business stuff, and then he quit.
No.
No. What I was expecting in this story was Jason was to say, so I have this one employee, he got himself injured, so I had to fire him. Like just right there on the spot. I'm just like his foot got trapped under 6 tons of scrap metal, and I said, when you get your foot out of there, don't come back.
So Jason, I know you were paying him $3 an hour. Did you ever think of I don't know, boosting him up to like $3.25 or something? Keep him around, or
I can't compete with his new job doing Amazon deliveries. They pay him $4 an hour.
Yeah, I know. They give him one bathroom break on a 12-hour shift.
And while the same week that this all happened was a scheduled week off for a different employee. So all I've had are the 2 vocational studies students, my indentured servants, who
are ironically lower paid. Lesser.
You have interns from the vocational school?
Yes, 2 of them.
He's got fucking interns.
You're my hero, dude. My God, and they're getting good. Oh, sorry, I don't mean to denigrate this. They're getting a good education. Pito just said.
The school pays them hourly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Pito, one of our regular commentators, just said, I put my trust in Big McLarge Huge MST3K Space Mutiny. I don't know what this statement means, Pito. Anyone here?
It's been 25 years since I've seen Space Mutiny, so I don't know. I can barely remember I Come in Peace from last night. So
Wait. Was Space Mutiny wasn't? They tried to kill him with a forklift, right?
Or was that Alien Fugitive?
That was Alien. That was Alien Fugitive. Fugitive
Or
Alien. Fugitive Alien.
Fugitive Alien. That's yes. Or maybe Peter. I'm sure will correct us if we're
Yeah,
wrong.
Pito. I'm seriously, man. We cannot do MST3K films. Like, they've done it and they did it better than we ever will. So, like, as much as MST3K films are the gold standard for what we do.
In addition to that, a mutual friend of all of ours was a writer for the newly relaunched.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
We can compete with that.
We could be hearing. We were talking last week how we could be hearing from his lawyers, and I think we'd just be pushing it if we start, getting into movies that were on that show. I think we're just asking for a lawsuit, guys.
And that actor is, of course, Patton Oswalt. Our good friend Patton Oswalt. Now we don't know that. I don't think we do. I don't think we do. I know he's probably a fan of this particular podcast. Our high caliber of quality that we strive for. But anyway, so Jason is exploiting people and firing them after they're maimed. That's how his week has been going. And it's.
He didn't even tell you the worst part is that they're 12.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to be driving a truck at all. He makes them get to his slave labor summer camp.
So Jason just fired Oliver Twist. And Jules, how are you doing?
Oh, just fine. Just fine. I got nothing.
So Jules and I, actually, this was we watched tonight's movie together last night, in a, platonic romantic date fashion. But no, we spent, as every Tuesday we do, editing the film The Stolen Mile. Mm-hmm. And we ran into, Jules, are we allowed to, on the internet?
We are not allowed to talk about that.
We're not allowed to say that problem. No. Okay.
No.
We ran into an editing snag last night. Snag is being worked out. We cannot say what it is, but suffice to say, editing shut down, and then we said, well, since we can't edit right now, might as well watch I Come in Peace. Which, by the way, I found tonight is not the only title of this film.
That's correct.
Yeah. So, John, you know this. I didn't know this till I tried to IMDb it. What's the other title?
Do you want me to announce what it was?
Please do.
The alternate, and this is what it was titled everywhere else in the world except the U.S. It was I Come in Peace, but "come" was spelled C-U-M.
That's not
No, I'm
true,
joking.
John. That's not true. And you are denigrating what I'm assuming is a perfectly decent porn film.
I know.
Some form. No, that's not the title of the film.
That adult version of it is actually a better film than the real one.
Right. Well, bigger budget for sure. I can guarantee that.
Okay,
but
so does anyone know the title?
Dark Angel.
Dark Angel. Does anyone know the story behind that?
Who is the Dark Angel?
There is no Dark Angel.
No, it's like I've seen the movie and I don't know who the fucking Dark Angel is.
So yes,
it's not Dolph Lundgren. I mean, there's nothing dark about that guy. He's pretty much the light. He's pretty much.
Yeah. So Dark Angel, aka I Come in Peace, is the film of tonight, which Jules and I saw on the big screen, the way it was meant to be seen. And this is my pick for the week, by the way. I'm just
I gotta stop you. It was not meant to. This is a made-for-TV thing. It was
it wasn't made for TV. It was not made for TV.
It was the theater release. Okay. I
saw it in the
say, I think you guys are the only people to see it in a movie theater.
Yeah, I saw this movie in 1990 in probably at East Hartford Showcase Cinema. I saw it on the big screen. I'm just prepping everything. That was my film for tonight. Jason, you're ready, right? Tonight's your movie?
Yes.
Good. All right. Let me just.
There was, I had to pick I had to pick a fallback movie because I'm not even kidding you. The one that I wanted to do, I couldn't find.
It's good you're looking.
This is what we need. We need interns to be scouring, flea markets and everything to find the movies.
Jason can get the interns apparently. Why are you
worried about the legal trouble we're going to get in doing that?
Why are they working on your business and not finding your movies on the internet, Jason. Come on. Step it up. Vinyl Tech's going to be paying good money for that.
But I know how Jason like picks his movies. If you get like a TV guide from 1984 and like look at what's playing on Showtime,
no.
You're gonna find all of the movies.
That's not how Jason chooses it. He chooses a TV guide from 1993.
Yes, 93 TV guide.
Year of tumultuous change. But anyway, yeah. So I come in peace, and I chose this film because I did see it in the movie theaters when I was a kid. And it was one of those things that I saw it with my dad, because me and my dad went to movies all the time. And we had a policy, I'm not condoning it, but back in Showcase Cinema, the aisles were done in a way that if you went to one movie, you could easily theater hop from one movie to another. And we would often spend an entire Sunday from noon till 9 o'clock at night just doing that. I realized we cost the studios untold amounts of dollars, but that's what we would do. And I want to say that I Come in Peace was a film that we went to for free, that we scammed into that film. But no, I think we paid full price for that movie and saw it on the big screen in the theater. And it was one of those movies, like, I was not a discerning kid. I really wasn't. Like, I would say that at this point in my life, I have a modicum of taste. I'm a film school graduate. But I so did not have any discernment when I was a kid. And in fact, I'd go to the movies with my father, and we'd come out and I'd say, "So what'd you think of this movie?" And he'd go, "Oh, that wasn't the best thing I've ever seen." And I'd get angry at him. Like, I was literally angry that my father thought Flatliners wasn't the best movie that was ever made right then. But even me at that age, during I Come in Peace, was going, what the fuck is this? Like, I had no patience for it even when I saw it, which is why I thought it would work for this film, for this podcast. Another thing, other than I would say, what we would say, Dangerous Ground, we haven't done a really schlocky action film. And I wouldn't even count Dangerous Ground because that's Steven Seagal and that's its own genre.
You don't think Firewalker was?
It was action adventure, but it wasn't like a lot of fighting and shooting.
No, that wasn't a schlocky action film. Like, there was this very specific breed of late 80s to mid 1990s action films, and many of them were sci-fi action films. But they had a kind of je ne sais quoi about them. And I thought this film fit the bill.
And Dolph Lundgren was in all of them.
What's that?
I said Dolph Lundgren was in all of them.
He was in a lot of them.
If you look at...
I think Jean-Claude Van Damme may have saved a hockey ring from disaster at some point.
There's a few of the guys, and Steven Seagal. I was looking at the list of Dolph Lundgren movies that he's made throughout the year. He, like, on average, makes like 5 movies a year.
No doubt.
Still?
I'll tell you what, he didn't. There was one in 2020. He didn't make a movie. Do you know how far back you have to go until there was another whole year where he didn't make a movie?
No.
2008. I mean, he's a machine.
What was going on in 2008? Now I'm really worried.
The housing market crash, I guess.
Oh, man. Dolph Lundgren, if you're watching this podcast, I know you are. Tell us what was going on in 08. What was going on, man? Like...
he probably got a call from Sly about the Expendables and felt he can take a year off. That came out, I think, in 2010.
Sure. Okay. And I do want to, after we get through the recap, which I hope, can I get some recognition that my recaps over the last 2 weeks have been relatively restrained?
You're getting better.
I'm getting better. I'm getting better. Like I say, I take my job seriously. Not enough to do any preparation, or actually try to like put any effort
the movie,
into
that's
getting
preparation.
better at this. But I do want to be better. Not enough to really work at it, but I do want to. So thank you for that. And we're gonna attempt this.
What's a start?
Now, one of the things that we're going to be working against here is that when Jules and I watched the movie last night, I fell asleep through about half of it. So, I mean, not asleep. I was kind of in and out, but I got the gist. I got the gist of the film. And after we do the recap, I really do want to talk about Dolph Lundgren and Sly Stallone and Sylvester Stallone, because I have some thoughts, I have some thoughts. All right, so anyway, we're going to get to this. This film.
I wonder if we're going to get through this without mentioning The Punisher. But go ahead.
Oh, I wasn't going to talk about The Punisher, but like we totally can.
I just think it's going to come up.
All right.
I think if we talk about The Punisher, that's going to have cultural value and relevance, and we can't do that.
Oh, not in this podcast. No, not at all.
That's why we're dangerous.
So
right.
you know how like sometimes I like to come up with like alternate titles for movies that we watched.
Mm-hmm.
I got one for this.
What is it?
Shit Terminator.
That's a good.
That's good, right?
No, but it's not though. It's not Shit Terminator. It's Shit Predator 2. That's.
All right. I don't know.
This is more Predator than it is Terminator.
If Predator were a heroin dealer.
Sure. Oh, spoilers, Jason. Spoilers. Listen. I really like the theme. Shit Terminator. That's a really good thing. But it's punchier. But I really think this is more in line of Predator or Predator 2. Predator 2 specifically. But we're going to get into this. All right. It's set in California. And
is it? What city was it?
I thought it was California.
What city was it? I couldn't even tell. I thought maybe it was Chicago.
I don't know.
I don't think it was LA.
Okay.
I don't mean to disagree this early already, but I mean, I'm just saying I was kind of confused what city it was.
Yeah, it's set in an indiscriminate city, and it begins with a yuppie driving. It was a BMW, right? Driving his BMW. Yeah, a yuppie driving his BMW. He's got the state-of-the-art system in this car. He's got a CD player in his car.
Yeah, that's big time.
Yeah. And he puts his CD in the car, and it's not working. And he's like, I made $70,000 with this car, and the damn CD player isn't working. And so he's trying to work on this thing, trying to get the CD player working. And then he almost gets into a car accident. He veers off the road, and he crashes into like a gully. All right? Gets out of his car. He's like, great. Merry Christmas. And then something falls from the sky, explodes his car, and then out of the wreckage comes a hulking Nordic figure in baggy homeless man clothes with shock white eyes, also shock white hair, who looks to the yuppie and says, I come in peace. He's like, okay. And then what happens? Does he slit his throat with a CD at that point? Is that what happens right there?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. He kills the guy without mercy and move on. Okay. We've established this, all right, everybody? An alien has crashed down to Earth and he's killing yuppies. There we go. At that point, we cut to like a sting operation, right? We get to the police kind of right away. And we see that, all right, sorry, everybody. Let's be honest, I was asleep. But I think I can do it. All right. Where we cut to is there's a sting operation with heroin dealers. And these are my favorite characters of the film. Jules and I call them the yuppie mob.
No, they call them the yuppie mob in the film.
They do? We didn't make that up? That's what they said?
No, we didn't make that up.
That's even better.
No, they called them what did they call them exactly? The yuppie...
I don't remember.
You guys remember?
But so you've got one cop.
Weren't they called the White Boys or something?
Yeah, I thought they were just called the White Boys.
Yeah.
But I think they referred to them as the Yuppie Gang a couple times too.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay,
I like these guys. I like the yuppie gang. So they straight up are just total yuppies, like these young white guys in 3-piece suits, in like late 80s, early 90s 3-piece suits, slick back hair. They're all blonde, and they're doing a drug deal with an undercover cop. Dolph Lundgren, Kane, is out in his car listening, eating a sandwich, and he's waiting for the yuppie gang to say the magic words like, "We would like to sell you this heroin," or something like that, or buy this heroin. I don't remember who's buying, who's selling. I don't know. Anyway, he's waiting for them to say, "Let's exchange money for heroin," so then he can bust them. But they're not saying it. They're being pretty cagey. And then he notices some crazy people robbing the convenience store next door. And he's like, "Oh, God. All right." And he kind of says to himself, "All right, guys, keep talking." And he runs out there, which said to me he's probably recording all of this because, evidence. But I don't think he is. He's just listening. So he runs in there and he intercepts this robbery in progress. And the first thing he comes in, he roundhouse kicks one of the robbers in the face. One bit of trivia of this movie: when he did that roundhouse kick to that extra, he connected and gave him a concussion.
Oh my God.
Because the other actor missed his mark and was at the wrong place. And if you're going to do that, Dolph Lundgren is going to kick you in the fucking face, everybody.
He will kick you in the face, yeah.
Be a professional and hit your mark. Because Dolph Lundgren he's using live ammo with those kicks, man. If that had been Chuck Norris in Firewalker,
he wouldn't have a head anymore.
The guy'd be dead. The guy would be dead right now. But yeah, okay, so Dolph Lundgren literally kicks a man in the face and then stops this robbery. There's like
Did anybody figure out what was going? What did the store have to do with the drug deal? Was in like a restaurant, and then there was like a bodega or something being robbed. I don't understand.
I thought they were separate incidents. I thought they had nothing to do with one another. It was just bad luck.
It was like Dolph Lundgren was in the car and was then overhearing the bodega for some reason. And this is where, the beginning of the movie was they really made a decision with this movie that they were going to go fast. And that was going to be really cool, right?
Yeah.
But what that means is the beginning of this movie is just going really fast while they introduce hundreds of characters and places and scenarios, and none of it makes any particular sense. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah. So does anybody know what was going on in the bodega? Why that was there?
No.
It was just I think it was just a separate robbery, and he just happened to have been there and intercepted it. But while he's dealing with this robbery, something else bad happens to his partner over.
Yeah. So Dolph Lundgren is gunning down crazy bodega robbers left and right. And he does like kill a bunch of them right there. In the meantime, the yuppie mob, they've known that this guy they're selling heroin to or buying heroin from he's a cop. They know that. And they give this weird yuppie speech of like, what's important? Education. Education is important. If you don't have a good education, you might end up in a life of crime. Me, I have a master's degree. What degree do you have? And the cop, he's flustered. He says, "I graduated from the University of Suck My Dick."
That was the best line in any movie we've ever seen. That was awesome. I stood up and cheered when that happened.
But his witty comeback aside, it doesn't serve him because he's dead very quickly. The yuppie mob just guns him down in cold blood and says, all right, well, one last cop in the world. And who was the name of the head yuppie? What was his name? Was that, I'm looking through the IMDb list, Warren? Was his name Warren? I think it was Warren. Okay. We're just going to say it was Warren. So Warren, the head yuppie, says, all right, I'm out of here. I'm going on vacation. This is in a film that mentions vacation a lot. I'm going on vacation.
Huh.
And make sure you collect all of that heroin. I don't want one grain wasted. So he leaves. And so the yuppie mob starts collecting up the heroin when our big villain, our, homeless man robes Nordic villain, who is named, by the way, Bad Alien. Actually, the Bad Alien / Talic. All right? It's Talic, but we'll just say Bad Alien because that's what IMDb says. Bad Alien. There's also Good Alien Azek. But we're just going to go Bad Alien, Good Alien. IMDb did it for us. So Bad Alien comes in, and he's got this, launcher on his wrist. But, what's the card game the kids play? Like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or something that has one of those things? It looks like that. He's got, this launcher on his wrist. And it fires a CD. I mean, it's straight up a compact disc.
It's supposed to be some kind of an edge weapon circular disc that spins, and it's supposed to be like a blade, but it was a CD.
Yeah, it was just a CD.
So they play it up because they have the yuppie complaining about his CD in his car in the beginning of the movie for no particular reason. So it's like they wanted you to think about CDs.
They really wanted you to consider.
They wanted you to be like, CDs. Oh, right, I heard about that.
And also with the subconscious bringing up of vacations, they really wanted to get it in you to go on vacation and listen to CDs.
On the one hand, I'm going to say they put a lot of work into the script. That's not usually the case on this show. But why did they put so much work into the script? So where were they? Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they really did. I mean, I'm always complaining about things being lazy or feeling like a first draft. This does not feel like a first draft at all.
So, I agree with you. We're going to come back to that. Now, so they fire a compact disc that starts spinning all around the room. This is where I go, this is kind of Predator. This is a very...
And can I just say, it, this movie is old because, CDs were new technology, and nobody knew, there's no way you could fucking kill somebody with this fucking CD.
But they do here, because this CD is slicing throats left and right. Slicing throats, and then it ends up into a wall. All right. Then Dolph Lundgren comes in because after killing a bunch of bodega robbers, sees all the mutilated people in here, and then sees his partner and has his requisite, no. Well, Dolph Lundgren, maybe you should have stayed and listened to what was going. You could have saved your partner right here. And I realize, he needed to stop the bodega robbery, but you could have called for backup or something. I don't know. And anyway, I'm moving on. So Dolph Lundgren's here. He's sad. He's now at a bar drinking, and he's sad because his partner got gunned down. And the chief, he's right there. The chief says, listen, Dolph Lundgren. I'm sorry, Kane, I need you to take a vacation. Your partner was just killed. I need you to go on vacation. He's like, no, I have to go after Warren. No, man, you can't. You're going to go on vacation right now. You're going to go to Tahiti. You're going to have a good time. And like most films, the badass cop hero would say, fuck you, and turn in his bag. If I need to go rogue to take out this yuppie murderer, I'm going to do it. Dolph Lundgren acquiesces really quickly. The boss goes, no, I insist. You better take this vacation. Dolph Lundgren goes, okay. All right, I'll go to Tahiti if you insist. And right then, as they're leaving, the FBI comes in and says, no, we need Dolph Lundgren right now. We're going to partner him up with the guy from Dream On.
When I saw that guy, I was like, wait a minute, I've seen that guy in something before. Oh, yeah, he was in Dream On on HBO.
Yep.
Another thing I saw on TV when I was too young to watch it, but was not supervised at all.
Yeah, that was Brian Benben. That's his name, everybody. Brian Benben. And now we get our buddy comedy cop connection. We don't know why the FBI wants Brian Benben to be working with Dolph Lundgren, but they do. Let's move on. And we're going to move on because the film moves on pretty quickly. So now Dolph Lundgren's Kane is a rough and tumble, play by my own rules kind of cop. And Brian Benben's Agent Smith is a by the book bootlicker. That's his character trait, is that he respects all authority. Doesn't matter who the authority is. His boss, his FBI boss, he'll do anything for. But not just him. The other boss of just the LAPD or whatever city they're in, who's obviously subordinate to him. Like, he's an FBI agent. He has his full reign to do whatever he wants. But whenever the chief of police talks, like, Brian Benben is listening and being a sycophant. Like, that's his character. He loves authority. He respects authority. There's our thing. Here we are. They have found the CD, the death CD that got lodged in the wall, and they take the death CD over to their scientist friend, who is named Bruce the Scientist.
Well, when they tried to get the death CD which was stuck in a stereo speaker at that bar, when they pulled the weapon CD out of the stereo speaker, it started going ballistic again and started flying around the room. When flying right at them, Dolph Lundgren said duck just at the right moment and went over their head and got stuck in the stereo speaker again. So
okay,
they're dealing with this, crazy future alien super weapon CD.
Yeah. And so they bring it to Bruce the Scientist, who's a kooky character. I'm not going to bother going into it, but very quickly, in the vein of every movie like this, like they have their scientist in their pocket. They bring it to them. Very, very soon after this, they will come back and he'll go, "This is amazing. You know that this is made of no substance on Earth. This is the most incredible thing ever." I'm sorry, like, I've just seen that scene so many fucking times. And why is Bruce the Scientist not more intrigued by this? If he could figure out in 35 minutes that this is a substance that has never been found on Earth, like, why is he keeping it a secret? Like, I don't know.
That's what's weird. This is a weird movie in terms of the kind of, like, who cares everybody has about aliens.
Everybody's
really kind of like,
yeah,
everybody's kind of like,
like Dead Weekend, right?
Or Amanda and the Alien.
Yeah, like Dead Weekend, Amanda and the Alien. It's the same thing where it's just kind of like,
oh, there's an alien.
Everyone figures out that there's aliens. They move on pretty quickly.
Yeah. They're all kind of like, I don't believe that, and then there's an alien. They're like, okay.
There's an alien, whatever.
It's not like Carl Sagan's Contact, where the whole entire world is like, holy crap, aliens!
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so at that point, the movie just kind of moves in this weird breakneck yet meandering pace where the alien...
Can I stop for a second?
Yes.
Did we get to the part where Al Leong is?
Who?
Al Leong?
Who are you talking about? I don't know who that is.
You don't know who that is? All right. I'll put a picture up of him and you'll know who he is.
Okay.
He is a notorious henchman. He played the luggage salesman who tries to rip off the white boys.
Really? Huh. Yeah, put that up. But at this point throughout the film...
There's a whole documentary on him called Henchman because he always plays henchman.
Wow. At this point, the movie just kind of goes in a few directions. Occasionally, we keep getting reminded that the white boys exist and they're taunting Kane. As Warren will send him a picture of himself from Rio saying, "Here, look at me. I'm living it up in Rio. Why don't you come and try to kill me, Kane?" So we'll get that going on. Also, Kane has this weird love interest in the city morgue coroner. That's going on. I'm not going to spend any more time explaining it. They don't give any more time to explain it. There is a character. Her name is Betsy Brantley, played by Diane Pallone. She exists. I'm sorry. I know it sounds sexist of me to say that. That will reduce the character to that. She's a coroner. She's in love with Dolph Lundgren. That's literally all they've given us, everybody. I would add more depth to this if they did. All right, so we have the white boys taunting Kane. Kane is in love with the coroner. He's getting into hijinks with Brian Benben, and they're investigating the CD. Meanwhile, the oh man!
Yeah.
He's like the best.
Yes, he is. Oh, you know who he is.
Is that
everything too?
Is that the scene in Die Hard with the candy?
I think
They made a documentary out of him called Henchman. because he always plays henchman.
And he's the best henchman that has
And
ever
he's
lived.
the best henchman ever. He played Genghis Khan in Bill and Ted's.
Yeah. Okay, I know a film that none of you have seen that stars this gentleman. One of the many sequels to Hard Ticket to Hawaii stars this man.
Really?
Yep.
Sequels to that fucking movie?
Dude, the Andy Sedaris cinematic universe is vast. Like 20 movies, and they're all interconnected. I'm kind of obsessed with them now.
It's the whole universe, yeah. It's like the Marvel universe.
We're gonna watch some more. At this point watched. I think I've watched 5 at this point.
It's the Marvel universe with boobs.
Sure
with
is.
Former Penthouse playmates.
But anyway. Oh God, how can I work through this? Yeah. So the bad alien is always murdering heroin addicts, and what he does. Let me explain this. He will accost a heroin addict. Out of his wrist, fire like this scorpion-like tube, like from Mortal Kombat. This tube with a barb at the end of it, and shoves it right into their chest. And that's just to like test their blood, right? I really think he's just testing their blood to see if they're on heroin. And if they're on heroin, he then pops out this spike from his hand, kind of like the interface that RoboCop had, and Bad Alien will then stab that into the forehead of the heroin addict, much like RoboCop did to that dude in RoboCop, what he done stabbed with his spike. Okay, anyway.
And you know what? When I saw this, I was thinking, like, what would be cool is if we had like somebody like that, but like for vaccines, for like people like anti-vaxxers, like people who don't want it. Like this guy will like fucking show up and like, you're getting the fucking vaccine. He'll show up like at an anti-vax rally, just like fucking like, you're getting it, motherfucker. Like the Terminator, but like the vaxxer or something like that. I don't know.
That's our next film,
we'll have
everybody.
we'll have to revisit that.
Yeah, I have that comic book in the works right now. So once he stabs this spike into the heroin addict's head, he then sucks out their brain juice. Okay, sucks out their brain juice. All right. So Smith and Kane are investigating all of this all throughout the film, and eventually they come in contact with Bad Alien, who's kicking their ass, like shooting death discs and has a really badass gun. All right, the gun is pretty badass. I thought it was a decent designed space gun, and it just kind of like goes and then shit just explodes. And which brings I want Jules to talk about this, the main highlight of this film, which was well-timed explosions.
That's right. They spent most of their money on really good pyro people. I mean,
right at the beginning of the movie, like the second scene, there's like a whole building explodes.
Yeah, and it explodes while they're pulling away in the car and filming dialogue. How do you tell you know? And they timed it perfectly. You know what I mean? Like, so like, yeah, they put all their money in that, and it was all revolving around like all the alien effects. There's no alien effects other than the fact that like their gun makes things blow up a lot because they've got the pyro guys. That's like, yeah. That's it.
And I couldn't tell, like, was that supposed to be an energy weapon or were there bullets in it? It just kind of goes, and a lot of fire comes out of the front, and then stuff blows up. Kind of like the guns in Logan's Run.
Yeah, it is like that.
Yeah, Logan's Run. It was, it had like a photon gun, and there would just be some like sparks come out of the front, and then somebody would die. And so it's kind of like this, except with explosions. So, yeah, that's what we got. But then we find out that there's another alien who is Good Alien. And Good Alien keeps chasing Bad Alien and shooting at him with a gun, and then buildings explode. Bad Alien shoots at him with his gun. Buildings explode. And then he gets shot. And he's oozing white blood. Just like white blood, kind of like Ash and Alien, only not as good. It was just paint, right? It was really just, it just looked like paint. And so he's bleeding out. And then Dolph Lundgren and Brian Benben are in their car. And then in the back seat, Good Alien pops up and is like, hello. And everyone's like, oh, what the hell? And they're like, no, please, I am an alien. I'm sorry, I am exaggerating. He doesn't say that. He's like, they're like, who are you? Where are you from? And he's like, I'm from another world. What? Why are you here? I'm an officer of the law, like you. And then he explains that basically in space, there's a really badass drug that gets people mad. I mean, mad high. Higher than, they tripping balls on this drug, everybody. And that drug is what you get if you mix blood with heroin. Okay? Mm-hmm. And your endorphins. I don't know.
It's kind of like instead of taking drugs which alter your brain chemistry, if you take the brain chemistry of a drug addict as a drug.
Yeah. Okay. And that's the hottest drug in space. Like if you go to any of the space clubs, you go to any space college, you know, any space corner, any corner in space, there's somebody selling this stuff. You know, it's an epidemic. It's a space epidemic, and since
the Star Drug Wars,
right there. And you know, really, I think I really want to know about the war on space drugs, and if that's really just a politically perpetuated farce. You know, I want to know about the war on space drugs and how their government facilitates it. But anyway. And when Good Alien explains this, Dolph Lundgren goes, he's just a lousy dealer. All right. You know, so they're making a little connection right here that, you know, man, crime in space, it's just like crime here. It's like, and you don't understand when villains find out that you can get this drug cheaply on Earth, the whole planet will be a slaughterhouse. You have to stop him. You have to stop him before he leaves. Promise me. All right, this is important. This is important because earlier in the film, the chief of police said, promise me you won't go after Warren and the white boys. Promise me you won't. And then, and he says, because I know you never break a promise. And Dolph Lundgren won't promise it. He's like, I won't do it. I can't do it. I won't do it. And so this is the only time the alien goes, promise me. And Dolph Lundgren says,
you do that so well.
I promise. I promise. I promise. All right, he does that. Okay. And so then Brian Benben's like, this is great. We'll take the body of the alien to my boss, and everyone will believe us. And that's when the alien done explodes.
Just spontaneously combusts. Like this is now the second movie where some mystical being spontaneously combusts.
Yeah,
like I said, they just bought some pyro people. They were just like, put aside your year, because whenever we need something to happen in this movie, you're just going to blow something up.
But it's not just blowing up. Like light starts bursting from his mouth, and like everything.
Yeah.
What are they doing there, Jules? Like, how did they do that?
I didn't look closely at it. I couldn't tell. I mean, that was probably one of the few optical effects in the movie. It might have just been shining shit on him. I don't really know.
Yeah, but the light's coming out of his mouth. The only thing I could think is that they're animating it. But
they're kind of conspicuously avoiding doing animation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe they made a body cast of the guy and then just threw lights inside the cast. I don't know. Because I don't think there's a lot of prosthetics in this film either.
Yeah, no.
Anyway. Little known fact that I found out from IMDb like 30 minutes ago about Bad Alien. That Bad Alien did all his own stunts because they could not get a stuntman who was his size. Like the guy's enormous. Like he's a giant guy.
You know who would be the stuntman who was his size is Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, but no, Dolph Lundgren wasn't that big. Like they show that they put them head to head.
Yeah, you're right. No.
Wait, so that means that Brian Benben is really that small? Is that what's going on? Because I thought Dolph Lundgren had to be. It was a combination of Brian Benben being moderately short and Dolph Lundgren being moderately tall. Because when they're walking down the hallway, it looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
No, Benben is like I'm a short guy. I'm a little guy, and Benben is taller than me. I would assume Benben is about like 5'6", 5'7".
Let's find out how tall Brian Benben is.
So that's what this podcast is right now. Spending the time looking up what actor Brian Benben's height is.
Oh, 5'6".
5'6". See, I just said that.
I think he's lying. He's lying. I think he's lying.
Anyway, taller than the Wolverine. Taller than Wolverine. So okay, yeah. So now we get into our big, moment where Brian Benben and Dolph Lundgren clash, because Brian Benben wants to take the space gun. He was thoughtful enough to, before Good Alien exploded, grab his space gun, which he describes as that way. He's like, no, I got his weapon. I got the space gun. And so Dolph Lundgren wants to just go and kill the alien. And Brian Benben wants to go to his FBI boss and give him the gun. And Dolph Lundgren's having none of it. He's like, no, Brian Benben, this is our job. We're going to kill this alien. He's like, you know what, Kane? You don't get it. You don't get it. You give me all this flack. I'm a good agent. I'm a good FBI agent, and I respect my superiors. We're the good guys, Dolph Lundgren. At some point, you forgot that. All right, so Brian Benben goes to meet his FBI boss at like some outdoor fountain in the middle of the night.
Who is played by Peter Aykroyd.
Peter Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd's brother, who co-wrote Nothing But Trouble.
Yeah, I know. When I saw that in the credits, I was like, oh, no shit. We keep coming back around full circle on this podcast. We don't even mean to. Like, we didn't plan this out. This is not the organized operation we're doing.
Do we got time for... Hey, we got a moment for another quick fact?
Sure, yeah. Absolutely.
The guy who played the friendly alien, the police officer alien.
That's Good Alien, yes.
Yeah, he right, and for whatever reason he can speak English and the other one couldn't at all. But he works for ESPN. He's an announcer. You go to his Wikipedia page; it doesn't even mention an acting career.
Oh my god!
He is he has been working for ESPN for decades.
Really? So when are we getting him on the podcast? Getting him out for drinks.
I know, right? He was also a coach. He was a basketball coach at Duke for 3 seasons. I mean, he is a broadcaster on NBA. It's all sports.
Wait, then how did he get this movie? Because I mean, this was not a small movie. I mean, it starred Dolph Lundgren.
It wasn't like a walk-on role either. I mean,
he has dialogue. He was paid probably a good amount of money for this movie.
Yeah, I just thought it was odd. Like, you look at he's not known at all for acting. It's all sports and broadcasting in ESPN.
And I will say he didn't do a terrible job. I mean, he had this. I mean, what Good Alien called for is somebody who looks kind of weird and seems kind of odd, human-y but odd. And I thought he pulled it off. Like he did fine. He did his, zap his gun. He did that just fine. And then the signature sound of all the aliens when they're hurt. Yeah. Sorry, I've done that way too much.
I think you should have had that role.
I was born to play that role. I was born.
You were born to play that role. They screwed up.
Guys, the truth is I'm 5'4", and I really would have played Brian Benben's role. That's the role, that I should have been playing, and it would have been better. I would have been even shorter. I would have been even shorter.
Like, when you faced off with Dolph Lundgren, you would have slid right through his legs. He'd never be able to catch you. That other. He's just a huge target, is all that guy is.
These films,
right.
Like, if what he needs is just a little dude to make him look gigantic, I can do that every frame of the film.
Right. I mean, it works for Wolverine.
It does.
Right?
It does.
Nobody fucks with Wolverine.
Yeah, we're going to finish this now, though. All right, so Brian Benben goes to his FBI boss, who somehow immediately knows about the alien.
Yeah.
Like, totally knows about it, and has a brown paper bag that Brian Benben just kind of goes and drops the space gun into. And then he tells his FBI boss, so listen, we should really, take care of the alien. And the boss is like, take care of the alien? No, this is first contact. We're gonna make trade with this alien. And don't worry, you're a good agent, Brian Benben. We're not gonna make you kill Dolph Lundgren. Wait, what? Yeah, I mean, we're gonna kill him, obviously. We're the evil FBI. We're the evil FBI, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna kill him, and then we're gonna start our space alliance with Bad Alien. And he's like, yeah.
Selling everybody space drugs.
Listen, if somebody's selling space drugs that were made on Earth, the FBI is getting a cut. And that's when
That's the truth.
FBI boss, for no reason, pulls out a gun and is about to shoot Brian Benben in the back of the head.
This is like an X-Files episode at this point.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. And then the FBI agent gets shot in the head, and there's Dolph Lundgren. Saves Brian Benben. He's like, Dolph Lundgren, how did you know? Oh, I had a gut feeling. All right. So now he schooled Brian Benben in the ways of the evils of the FBI, and that they really need to just go and kill this alien. All right. So they go back to Dolph Lundgren's house. They arm for bear, like Dolph Lundgren. He gets a shotgun, and Brian Benben has the space gun. Why does Brian Benben get the space gun? He gets it the whole movie. Like that's his
Dolph
gun.
Lundgren doesn't need a space gun, I guess.
I don't know.
Because he assured Dolph Lundgren he knows how to use it. And then when it came time to fire, he didn't know how to use it.
He had no idea how to use it. And so, so then they open the door, and there's Dolph Lundgren's love interest, the coroner. Debbie? What was her name?
Who cares?
Sorry, Betsy.
Diane. Diane?
No, Diane's her name. Yeah. You're right. Diane Pallone was the character's name, played by Betsy Brentley.
Oh.
All right. So there's Diane. She's like, what's up? I thought we were going to Tahiti. He's like, no, we got to kill an alien. What do you mean an alien? Long story.
She's like, what are you talking about? I quit my job. Like, what?
Oh, that's right. Because Dolph Lundgren, after he's not fired a second time, his boss said, no, now you really need to take this vacation. He goes, Diane, he's like, come on, listen, I'm on vacation. Let's go to Tahiti. She's like, I've got a job, Dolph Lundgren. He's like, quit your job. And she does. He's like, oh, man, yeah, I was preemptive in telling you to quit your job, but we got to go kill an alien. So they get into the elevator, they come down, they open the door, and there's my favorite yuppie mob waiting for him. There's the white boys with their Tech 9s, and they're like, you fucked up, Kane. And they're about to gun him down, but then there's Bad Alien. They're trying to shoot Bad Alien, and then Bad Alien kills him with a Walkman. Or kills him with the compact disc that's flying all around, doing some junk. All right. And then there's a whole big fight. Like, Brian Benben shoots him tries to shoot him with the gun, and just like Jason said, the gun doesn't work. He doesn't know how to work space guns, but he kind of figures it out. It's pretty simple. There's a knob that goes from settings 1 through 4. And Brian Benben, first he sets it on 1, shoots the alien. Alien's fine. They're running around. Shoots him with level 2. Gets up. The alien's fine. Then they get into a car, and then the bad alien steals a police car, knows how to drive a car. And then they have a big old chase throughout the city. They're driving on the sidewalk. Brian Benben is scared. They go through a shopping mall, just like in Blues Brothers. There we go. All right. And so then they drive to an industrial complex where what Dolph Lundgren told Brian Benben is, I'm going to find you a place where you can have one clear shot. And what he does is he breaks him to a place where there's like no clear shot at all. This is like a totally busy industrial complex. Like there's no way. But anyway, so he sets up Brian Benben up in like an office with a where there's a broken window where he can shoot down from, and then he lures the alien to him because he somehow gets a hold of the alien's space drugs. His brain juice. He's got a packet of brain juice, and Dolph Lundgren got it. It fell off. Stuff happens. And so he puts it down there, and then the alien comes, and he wants to get his space juice, his brain juice, his space drugs, and Dolph Lundgren's like shattering it, like, you come near me, I'm gonna destroy your space drugs. And this is if I'm a space drug dealer, I have learned at this point that there are a lot of heroin addicts out there, a lot of them. I can let this batch go. I can go to Hartford in the 90s. This is 1990. Mm-hmm. Go to the north end of Hartford. Go to Frog Hollow. You're going to be fine. Anywhere, honestly, anywhere.
Yeah, during that era, too, you can get any drugs. You can get space drugs on Park Street, Hartford in the 90s.
Park Street, Zion.
No
just
problem.
Go to Zion Street.
You'll find somebody. Somebody will have that. Yeah, space drugs? You mean from I Come in Peace? Yeah, we can get that for you.
Yeah, we could have all made so much money with
space drugs, man.
Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that if you're an alien criminal looking for space drugs,
I want to go to a party and go up to people I don't know and just be like, "Hey, you want to do some space drugs?"
There's somebody at that party who's just going to say yes without asking any questions.
I know.
Yeah. Okay.
Be like, meet me in the back. We'll do some space drugs.
Okay, so we've all been to a party on South Whitney, right? We've all been to a party on South Whitney Street.
I lived on Whitney, not South Whitney.
Yeah. So okay, but anyway, Bad Alien is really, really hung up on these particular batch of space drugs. And so, when Dolph Lundgren is doing the classic, you come near me, I'm going to break this, space alien backs off. And Dolph Lundgren has a gun. He kind of does that, throws his gun to the side. And then Bad Alien throws his gun to the side. And then Dolph Lundgren gives Brian Benben the cue. And Brian Benben turns to Diane and says, I'm giving this bastard a level 4. Clicks it up to level 4, puts out the window, pulls the trigger, nothing happens. The gun's out of space ammo. He's been using this gun willy-nilly. Mm-hmm. All right, now we got some problems. Because that's how we were planning on killing Bad Alien. And so then Bad Alien, he shoots up at them or something with his space gun. Brian Benben falls out, takes a 30-foot fall and smashes into a car. All right. And then it's Bad Alien versus Dolph Lundgren. Dolph Lundgren's doing roundhouse kicks to him. He's not doing anything. He's getting his ass kicked. And then Bad Alien shoots out his scorpion thing, and Dolph Lundgren grabs it. And that's kind of a tense scene. You got this needle right at his face, except that it goes on for 5 minutes. It goes on for an interminable amount of time. There's just Dolph Lundgren pretending to fight with a rope. That's his thing. I remember someone saying, you remember in the first Spider-Man movie how Macho Man Randy Savage is in the film as a wrestler?
Okay. Yeah.
Right? Macho Man Randy Savage in there. And there was a story about that where when they were there, Macho Man Randy Savage was just during downtakes saying, I will wrestle anybody. I will wrestle anything. And then someone threw him a water bottle. And then he wrestled the water bottle on stage. But while doing it, made the water bottle kicking his ass. And it showed just what an amazing
he's a performer.
Actors, what amazing performers wrestlers are.
That movie actually ended his wrestling career. He got really fucked up on that scene, and he was never able to. He had to he basically stumbled out of wrestling after that movie.
In Spider-Man?
Spider-Man, yeah. He talked about that in an interview.
Really?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the exact thing that he did there, but he got so fucking into. But I mean, I think he was doing what you're talking about, I'm a professional wrestler, I can take a hit, and I'm not like you actors, and go ahead and give it to me. And he was probably they gave it to him, and yeah, it just fucked him up, and that pretty much ended his career.
Damn. Well, the reason I even bring that up is that story illustrates that some physical actors can like get into a fight with a water bottle and make it look convincing. Here we have Dolph Lundgren, who's been tasked to fight with a rope for 5 minutes. And it's just the most boring shit ever. Like, I never thought that this thing is trying to get him. I'm like, oh, Dolph Lundgren is doing this. And for those of you listening, I'm pretending to fight with a rope, and it's not convincing. So this goes on for a while. Then Dolph Lundgren like jumps up and stabs Bad Alien in the neck with the rope dart. And then Bad Alien is pissed. And then Dolph Lundgren like kicks him again and shoots him with a shotgun a bunch of times, and then drives him into a pipe that like impales him, and he's there. And I'm going to do this the last time, everybody. That's what the alien says. And then Dolph Lundgren picks up his space gun, and Bad Alien goes once again, I come in peace. Which, again, he's been saying, I haven't really addressed that, but he says that to like everybody. And
that's the only English he knows, yeah.
And so then Dolph Lundgren says, and you leave in pieces, asshole. And then shoots him with the gun, and he in fact does like explode. All right.
And then we go into the most abrupt ending of a movie ever.
Oh, I love it. So Diane fishes Brian Benben out of that car. He's fine. He's a little banged up, but he's fine. And then they all get together, and they're all arm in arm. You know, like Dolph Lundgren in the center. He's got it because he's bigger than everybody. He's got his arms around both of them, and they're all friends now. And you know, there's this thing, and he says, "Hey, Smith, what's your name? What's your name?" And he says, "Oh, I'm Arwood Larry Smith." He goes, "Oh, good job, Smith." Like, oh, he's not going to say that name. That's a ridiculous name. And he's like, "All right." And then Diane's like, "Can we please go on vacation now?" He's like, "No problem. I'm thinking Rio." And because you remember, that's where the head of the white boys are. And Agent Smith's like, no way. Freeze frame. Roll credits. I come in peace, everybody.
Wow, you got that done in 45 minutes. Good job.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I have some thoughts, but before we get anybody else, what was your experience with I Come in Peace or Dark Angel? Where did they get that title?
I can't make out. That's because that's what the villain kept saying the whole movie. Oh, Dark Angel. Like, I think Dark Angel. It's just like, you know, that just kind of like, you know, you put a poster of Dolph Lundgren and you write Dark Angel, and people will probably go see the movie. I mean, it's just something. But
I mean, was it Dark Angel on television? Because that did happen sometimes. Like, does anyone remember?
No, I don't think so. I think in the U.S. it was I Come in Peace. Somebody just decided to change it. But does anybody have problems with Dolph Lundgren's accent? I don't know if it's because I'm expecting him to talk like Ivan Drago, or is because he's Swedish, but like I think he's pretending to do an American accent. And he just doesn't seem like right. Like it's not.
Love it.
His accent sounds fine. It's just kind of his face when he's doing it. It's like he's really struggling to have this American accent that we know he doesn't really have.
Yeah, he has this weird accent, and I kind of like it. I like the Dolph Lundgren's accent.
I have another question. How old were you when you realized? I mean, did you see Rocky IV in the theater when you were younger?
Yeah.
How old were you when you realized that Dolph Lundgren wasn't Russian?
I think when I Come in Peace came out. but that's a good segue. That's a good segue. And I was thinking about I was thinking about Stallone and Rocky. It's 4, right? It's Rocky 4.
That was Rocky 4, yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that. There's this weird-ass thing with Stallone, and I hate Stallone. I really don't like him.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. He's not a good guy.
I'm with you.
And I do not like Stallone, but I'm going to talk about 2 early Stallone films, and it's so strange to me. And these are films I legitimately like, and think are good movies. And those films are Rocky and Rambo. Like, and
wait,
you
mean Rambo or First Blood?
I mean First Blood.
First Blood, definitely.
Yeah. Like you have First Blood is a thoughtful movie. I mean, it is an action film, but
it is no, and so is Rocky.
Yeah,
Rocky is just it's not an action film. It's a drama. It's a
I mean, so like you have First Blood, which is an unflinching look at PTSD and war trauma and what happens to like Vietnam vets when they came back to the US, and it is also an action movie. And Stallone is fantastic in it.
I was arguing with a friend of mine many years ago about whether Sylvester Stallone is a smart guy or not. And the guy I was doing it with is a very smart guy. He graduated from Wesleyan. He went to law school. He's a really smart guy. But I was arguing Sylvester Stallone is a smart guy.
Yeah.
And I was referring to that. It was like he wrote Rocky. That's not a fucking dumb action movie. That's a very fucking
But also like watch the end of First Blood. I mean, he is. If you're watching those two films earlier at that point, Rocky and First Blood, you would say that this Stallone is going places. This is a good actor.
Like, it reminds me of me and my brother-in-law a few years ago. It was the night before we were going to go watch the new Road Warrior, the reboot one, and the night before we watched all the Road Warrior movies before, and Road Warrior 1 in particular and Road Warrior 2 were so different than Road Warrior 3. Road Warrior 3
you're referring to Mad Max.
Mad Max is what I'm referring to, right? Road Warrior was the first movie, which was
the first one is actually Mad Max. Road Warrior is the second one.
It was Mad Max, Road Warrior.
Road Warrior, and then...
No. Are you sure? I think the first one is the Road Warrior. The second one is Road Warrior, Mad Max. No? Okay.
No. It's Mad Max, Road Warrior, and then Beyond Thunderdome.
Okay.
But anyway, so I know you want to talk about Rocky, which is where I'm going to go with this. So, like, you've got First Blood, which is a thoughtful film, if an action film can ever be one. And then you have Rocky. I mean, am I wrong here? Does he win an Academy Award for that?
I think he did. No, I think you're right.
I think he did.
Yeah. For best screenplay. Like, it is a thoughtful, nuanced film. Rocky's a great movie. Not just a fun movie, it's a great movie. And
First Blood was based off a novel that was really well received.
But if First Blood and Rocky are that quality, I mean, by the time you get to Rambo, just one film down, how you get that thoughtful film and turn it into this caricature, this utter like just cartoon.
But I think that's also part of his I don't want to use intelligence because I don't want to overcompliment him. I think he's smart. I don't think he's intelligent, but I think he is a really great businessman, and he kind of saw where to take these films where they would be really well received. So he took Rocky, which wasn't about which doesn't even resemble the Rocky in Rocky 4 or Rocky 3 or any of those. And the same with Rambo. He took that
and you can't say with Rocky that he didn't know what he was doing because he wrote Rocky. Like, he has that ability.
He knew what he was doing in all of them, and he's still doing that today with the Creed movies. He's still doing it.
Yeah, and I'm going to dovetail back to why I'm even talking about all of this is so you have Rocky, this wonderful, wonderful film, and by the time you get to Rocky 4 with Ivan Drago, you have this. It's obscene. It is this jingoistic, just offensive film. Like when you have Stallone standing on a cliff top, wrapping himself in the American flag, and then you're cutting to Drago getting the drugs into him. I mean, how you go from the first Rocky to Rocky IV with that. I mean, I find that film offensive.
You know, if you watch these action movies in the era we grew up in the 80s and early 90s and things, you'll find the theme where, and Americans just ate it up, where you find like a really tough guy who's like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, who doesn't want any trouble. He's not looking for any trouble. But 75% of the movie, they're just fucking provoking him, whoever these bad guys are, whether they're Russians or fucking whoever.
These 80s action
and they're just fucking with him. And then at the end, he's got no choice but to fight back. You know, and it's like kind of like it's as Americans, we're so drawn to fucking revenge.
And it was an easy target to pick Russians at that time.
Yeah, easy target to pick Russians.
Russians or whatever. I mean, there's always something. I mean, you know, in First Blood, it was somehow the police hated Vietnam vets. I can't figure that out. But
no, it's because that one officer thought he was a vagrant, was like, get out of my town.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember cops like really being hostile to Vietnam veterans, though. I mean, you know, okay, he's, you know. But yeah, I get it.
But I guess where I'm going with this, and this is all coming back to Dolph Lundgren, is that there is this period in the late 70s, early 80s, when that is the mold of action film that is coming out. The original Rocky, the original Rambo. And very quickly, those go by the wayside, and we get these cartoons, these ultra-violent, just brainless, offensive action cartoons. Super macho cartoons. And I think there's a direct line to that's where I Come in Peace comes from.
Mm-hmm.
That it is a smaller, crappier version of Rocky IV and all of the subsequent Rambo films. I mean, am I getting too heady here, or do you guys think I have any merit in what I'm saying?
No, I do agree with what you're saying, but I also think you're overthinking it a little bit. For again, to me, I look at Dolph Lundgren's body of work, and this is just one in the pile. He does 4 or 5 action movies every year since the 80s. 4 or 5 every single year, and they all pretty much have the same formula. Fight scene at the end, it's just okay, here's Russians, here's aliens, here's whatever. He kicks ass and reigns supreme and walks off with a girl.
So how do you guys like Dolph Lundgren? I mean, just in general, like we've seen Seagal in this podcast. We've seen Chuck Norris. What do you guys think about Lundgren?
Look, I've always thought that Dolph Lundgren is a good performance martial artist. I've always liked his, what he does with physical stuff. I mean, I'm not going to say like he's some great A-list actor. He does B movies, but I like his martial arts stuff.
He was so well casted in Rocky IV, it was ridiculous. And, I give Sylvester Stallone a lot of credit for, hiring this Swedish guy to play this Russian because, how far can you keep pushing these Rocky movies at this point, and like get them so good? It's really not about Rocky anymore. It's really about the enemy. And that's, Dolph Lundgren to me carried that whole fucking movie.
It was completely like his movie. It's
right. It was like I want to see him kick Ivan Drago's ass. That's really what it was about. I've seen everything else. Rocky, and I know it's going to happen. I mean, it's the same fucking thing in these Rocky movies. It's like he's gonna all right. Rocky lost the first one, but that was like.
Because that was a good movie.
That was actual something with a plot and wasn't just an action movie. But since then, there's a fight at the end and he reigns supreme, and that's going to happen in one form or another.
Yeah. Okay. Dolph Lundgren fact. I just confirmed this. I talked about it with Jules. I always thought this was true. And Dolph Lundgren is in fact a genius. Yep.
Oh, he's a physicist. Yeah, go ahead.
Not a physicist. No, he has an IQ of 160. He's got a chemical engineering degree from the Royal Institute of Technology in Sweden. and had a full scholarship to MIT.
I think in America he's a genius. I think in Swedish he's very average, and yeah, I don't think he stands out that much in Sweden. With
all right, so final thoughts about this movie. I Come in Peace. Like, it is as forgettable as I remembered it. As breakneck paced as it was, I found it utterly boring.
It's your average 80s action schlock. It's just, you know.
But yeah. Jules,
I want to ask you all a question, and I want you all to answer. Are you more bored with this or with Neil Breen?
I'm more bored with this, and I like it more than Neil Breen.
Okay. All right.
Now hold on. I'm going to explain. First of all, can we ever do a podcast without talking about Neil Breen? Here's my point.
Let's talk about Lou Diamond Phillips every day, and then we talk about Neil Breen.
You don't understand. When we're talking about Neil Breen, we're talking about a bar.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, when I say Neil Breen, we all know what we're talking about.
Yeah. John, I understand why you like Neil Breen. I'm not mystified by it. I understand why you do. And I'm willing to say that if I were at a party, not in a party, if I were at a party or hanging out with you guys and we all watched a Neil Breen film together, I might enjoy it. Like, in fact, I would enjoy it.
Let's do that when he comes out with his new one. We know he's making another one.
We need a Neil Breen live cast party.
Absolutely, absolutely. But like, you asked me to watch a Neil Breen film by myself, isolated and alone and sad. I get no enjoyment
during a pandemic.
Yeah, like, it was the cruelest thing one could do.
Watch this movie in your closet. Tell me what you think.
There you go. But Jules, you have, as boring as I found the film, we put a pin in this. You have some thoughts about the script, about the way it was constructed.
Yeah, no, this would actually go back to my criticism of Hard Ticket for Hawaii. I would have found Hard Ticket for Hawaii a lot more entertaining if they had put the amount of work into the script that they had put into this, because there's no point to I don't know, like, why, like, Hard Ticket for Hawaii at least has the hilariously bizarre plot and the rest of it and circumstances, and making it actually fit together and not just be exploitive nonsense would have been more entertaining. This was well stuck together, but for what? I mean, I don't know. To a certain extent, 80s drug movies are boring. To another extent, like, 80s killer alien movies are boring. And then, like, just sticking to like the most boring version of each together didn't do anything. So yes, boring. But like I said, yeah, the script, look, everything stuck, like, fit together like clockwork, which was insane. We've never seen it here. We've literally never seen it here. Never had things set up in one part of the movie and then they pay it off later.
Yeah, like randomly the yuppie mob comes back and it's like, no, that's not random. That was forecasted. There's happening for it.
So
it's a good point. We're about to leave I Come in Peace and never return. Anyone else have anything to say?
They were hang on. Somebody, I'm trying to remember. Somebody come back to me.
I got nothing else, John. It's your show right now, man.
Nobody else has.
There you go. We'll come back. We'll come back to you. But while John is researching,
I got it. Great. Matthias Hughes lobbied for a sequel from the early 2000s up until 2016.
Oh yeah. And there was a sequel in the works that had none of the original characters. It was, a cop
he announced it. Yeah.
There was a cop. I believe the plot was that there was a cop who was teamed up with a female Interpol agent who is an alien who is tracking another alien.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there you go. Yes, there was a number of people have tried to make sequels to this film. With that,
and when they pitched the sequel, the people and the executives in the room weren't like, sequel to what movie?
I Come in Peace. Oh no, I'm sorry. You know it as Dark Angel. Yeah. That was the problem. They kept saying Dark Angel. Yeah. I Come in Peace, and everyone's like, "Wait, don't you mean Dark Angel?" Yeah.
I have another thing I want to say. The movie is very it's very low rated on Rotten Tomatoes, but it is extremely high rated on Amazon Prime for no known reason.
Let the
Isn't that
people
crazy?
decide. Let the people decide.
It's
Because
4.3 out of 5 stars.
Okay.
It's a show. The people who made the movie went and rated it.
Oh, well, Jason.
Now I got to
Jason, could you please
wait.
wait? Yep.
I just want to announce the tagline for this movie.
Oh, what was the tagline?
Because nobody knows it, but I know the tagline for it. It's awesome. Jack Kane, period. Houston cop, period. Human, period. What he's up against isn't.
Oh, okay.
That's the tagline.
That is really complicated.
I'll read it again.
I want to read this comment. I want to read this comment by John. I want to read this comment by Pito Royo, who just said, "This is one of the movies I remember my late father enjoying it for what it was." Yeah, I'm glad. Like,
there's definitely an audience for this, sure.
Yeah, like I say, I watched this movie with my dad too, and I'm glad you guys you have fond memories of it. Yeah, I'm glad. And with that, Jason, what are we watching next week?
You know, I wanted to do a movie that was
available.
Yeah. On Showtime in the 90s.
John, do you remember when we watched that documentary about social media and they referenced some dystopian movie from the 70s where some person invented a TV screen where you could watch your own dreams on the screen and like the whole society becomes addicted to watching their dreams on the screen?
No, I don't remember any of that.
Oh, and they tried to relate that in the documentary to people's cell addictions.
Oh, Jules, do you
I couldn't find the title of this. So anyway, I'm watching I Come in Peace. I see Brian Benben. I'm like, his face is familiar. Oh yeah, he was in that show on HBO. I couldn't remember the name of it. Separate from that, I'm trying to Google to look for the name of this movie about the people who I'm trying to look up dystopian movie about dreams. And in the list came up the name Dream On. And I was like, oh yeah, that's what he was in. And so I couldn't find the name of this movie, whatever it was. It was just some 70s obscure thing. So instead, we're going to do a movie that was recent and came out this year. Instead of a past movie that slipped through the cracks, we're going to do one that no one even noticed. It's called Jiu-Jitsu with Nicolas Cage.
Oh, God. We haven't done any Nicolas Cage movies.
Done a Cage yet.
Oh, my God. 25 at some odd episodes, and we haven't done one fucking Nick Cage movie.
Jason for the win.
Jason, man. Great job, dude.
Wow. I'm excited. I'm excited for Jiu-Jitsu. Now, Jules, was Jason talking about Until the End of the World?
No, there's other dream watching movies.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And I'm totally hazy on them too. Like I feel like there's at least 2 or 3 from the late 70s to early 80s of weird watching your dreams movies. And I can't remember any names. I can tell you who's in them. I don't know.
Dang. Well, in any case, thank you all for going down memory lane with me once again with I Come in Peace. I'm looking forward to Jason's choice of Jiu-Jitsu with Nick Cage. And
be awesome.
John, remember next week is your choice.
Oh, so I know.
Be ready. With that, once again, thank you all for joining us down the rabbit hole that is A Dangerous Podcast. I'm your host, Ian Alley Seals. I'm here with Jason, Jules, and John. Have a good night, everybody. See you next week.
Everybody.
Good night.
How do I get out?